So, okay, let's end it off to her. So, how did your dream start?
So I was leaving a place, and I don't know what the place was, but I was leaving, and I could see that there was a line where you can go out and a line where you can go in. And me and Jared, we were leaving the place. And then all of a sudden, I was like, oh no, where's my jacket? And I was like, oh, I had left that inside. So I was like, Jared, can you go get my jacket? And then Jared was like, okay. So he went into the line where you can go inside the place. And then while you're going in, this elderly guy stopped you and he started talking to you. And I'm like, who is that guy? I was watching him suspiciously, like, what do you want with my son? And then he kind of turned around and saw that I was watching him. And then he was like, oh, he stopped talking to you. So you went on your way to get my jacket. And then I saw you grab my jacket and you had it like around your arms. Yeah, like that. Like, like, like this. Put your hands together like that. And my jacket was like that. Okay. And I saw that. So you were coming. And then when you were close to me, like you were behind me, but you were close to me. So I was like, I started walking because you're safe. No people with you. So you're safe. So I started walking. And then I was like, oh, I remember that guy talking to you. And I was like, what did he say to him? So I was like, let me ask him. And then I turned around a quick glance and I was about to be like, Jared, what did the and I didn't finish the sentence because when I turned around, Jared was nowhere to be seen, like nowhere to be found. And then I saw your clothes on the floor and my jacket was still around like that. Jared's, my jacket was still around like your clothes like that. Just like your
So imagine
sleeves.
me without clothes, just that.
No, not you. Imagine
I
your
mean,
clothes on the
me with
floor
the
and then
clothes.
my jacket
Okay.
around your clothes. And then,
So I want to comment on that. I was commenting on that, Katie's. I want to comment on that. In that, if none of you know, because last time Katie referred to the rapture, and that's the rapture, and a lot of people suspect you're gonna go and your clothes are gonna stay. That's what that is. If just saying, if no one knew what the rapture was.
so when I saw the, the clothes on the floor, then I turned around to the front. And when I turned around to the front, I started seeing more clothes like falling to the ground. And then I knew what was happening. And then something like jumped inside of me, like something in, I don't know, it was just something just like, I don't know how to explain that. And then I knew what was happening. And when that happened, and when I felt that, I felt like there was an arm that came from heaven, like from up in heaven, and then like grabbed me like around my chest, kind of, and pulled me up. But it was like so quick, so fast, the fastest that you can imagine. We were gone from there. And then, the Bible says in the blink of an eye. It was exactly in the blink of an eye because it's like I closed my eye and I was out, and then I opened my eyes and I was in a different place. So this is like next scene kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, so what was the next scene?
So I saw that I was like in a hill kind of thing. So the hill goes like it's down, then it goes up, and then it kind of goes down again. So I was like down on the hill and I could see green grass and tall green trees. They were so green though. If like the color, it was so green that I haven't seen a green in this earth. Like it was not like it was green, but it was not like any green that I've seen here, right? And I was like, man, like this color looks like it's alive. And then I turned to my left, and then I see like a guy but it was like an angel kind of figure to my left, and he was looking to the distance up like on the hill kind of thing, and he was wearing a white robe all the way to the bottom, like it was long robe. It was so clean, like that's what I could see. It was so clean. It was like a majestic kind of white color. It was like, it was so white that it was kind of like shining. And then his face, I couldn't tell like what his eyes color or like his face was, because he was like so shining as the sun. And it was, I kind of knew that he was the light of that place. Like he was lighting the entire place there. So there was no light needed because he was lighting the place. So from that point, I kind of knew that was Jesus. You know? So, then he turned around. Like I was looking at him like, oh.
Does it mean like in a sense you felt like Jesus?
Yeah, I like knew he was Jesus,
So
because he
like,
was.
knew him.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but you didn't see.
I didn't see his face. He was just shining and glowing, and couldn't see
So was
it.
it like too much? He was shining too much that you couldn't see his face, or just you couldn't see his face?
He was shining so much that I couldn't see his actual face.
Okay.
And then he turned around to look at me, and then he said, "Come and see." And then he kind of took me, and we went up to the tip of the hill. And from the tip, we could see the other side of the hill. And I could see everything that was, how I wear glasses and everything. I can't see well, but I could see everything. It was so clear. And so, on my left side, there were two rivers.
Rivers?
On the left side. And then on this side was a really dirty, wide river. The water was like really, how do you say that? Like the rush of the water was so strong. Yeah, like the current, I guess. The current was so strong. And I can see huge rocks inside the river. But they were inside, but you came all the way outside too, so you could see the rocks. They were huge. And it was so dirty, but it was so wide. Right? And then, so here's that river right here. Yeah. And then up higher. Oh, and when I was looking at the dirty river, there was like something that came to me. It was not a voice or anything, but like a word came to me, and it was like, these are tumultuous waters.
What was it?
Like tumultuous waters, like I don't know, like angry waters or something like that.
We should look that up.
Yeah, I don't really know what that means, but it was like tumultuous water. I feel like it's just like the current, how strong it was. And then up higher from that river, there was another river. This river was really not like, so the river is right here, and then the other river is right here.
So it's like, how do you explain that?
So it's on the same side, like the left side, but one, it's like
so
on the left side,
they
and then the other
close to each
one
other?
kind of close to each other.
So close to each other, but one is like higher up.
Yeah, kind of like on the right side. So
like this?
No, on the same side. But if you will stand on this side, then one was on the right and one was on the left.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
there was a clean, really narrow river. And in that river, the water was sparkly, crystal clear, that I could see the fish, like I could see little fish. And I could see like pebbles. You know how the other one had like huge rocks? This one I could see little pebbles inside the water. You could see everything that was in it. It was so narrow though, but it was so clean, and it was shallow too. Like it was not deep at all. And then another word came to me again, and it was like, there's life in this river. Okay, so I'm looking at the river, right? So I'm just like looking at that. And then on the right side, I started seeing a bunch of people coming. So it was like a multitude of people. It was so many. And I could see like there were different races. Like I could see Spanish people, like white people. I could see Asian, black people, like all kinds. And then, when I was watching all that, I knew that all those people were going somewhere. But in order to get there, they had to cross one of the rivers. There's no other way. They have to cross one of the rivers. So they have to choose which river they can go.
Choose?
Yeah, they had to like choose because they were going to a place.
Uh-huh.
But in order to get there, you have to cross a river. So it depends on which one you choose. That's where you're going.
Oh, okay. So it's your choice.
Yeah,
I think I
basically.
know which one I would want.
So then there was a guy that got in the front of all of the multitude of people. And he was like, oh, let's go in this river. This river is so much faster. We're going to get there faster. And then everybody started following him and they started getting into the dirty river because the current was so fast that they thought they were going to get there faster. So everybody started getting into the river. And then as they're getting in, it seemed like the river was getting angrier and angrier and the current started like getting faster and faster. And then you could see how they're just like drowning in the river and the river's pulling them in. And as the more they're getting in, the more people are getting drowned. And then I started crying because I was like, all these people are getting lost. Why are they going into the river? And I keep asking myself, like, why are they going into this river? Don't they see there's another river right there? Like, why are they still? And then I started crying because my chest was hurting, because my heart was hurting so much that I couldn't stand it. And then I looked at Jesus, right? And his face, even though I couldn't see, I could tell how sad he was from seeing all this. And then at that time, I understood that what I was feeling, it was not what I was feeling. It was Jesus, what Jesus was feeling. So kind of like Jesus put his feelings or his heart in my heart.
You felt his pain?
Yeah, so that I could feel his pain, but it was not like just his pain. It was like how much he loved them so much that it hurt him to see them getting lost, you know? So everybody was just getting in there, and there was like a bunch of people still getting there, and then all of a sudden I see men dressed as women, and I see them in like high heels, and I see them like with makeup and stuff. So I knew they were like almost homosexuals, and they started getting into that river too. And as soon as they got into the river kind of like got angrier, and from somewhere, I don't even know where, all these alligators came, and they started grabbing their arms and their legs, and they were yanking them from their bodies. And then I saw how some of the alligators were grabbing like their head, and they were going under the river with these people, and everybody was screaming and crying once they were in, because they couldn't get out once you got in there. And I was still like, crying and feeling the pain that Jesus was feeling, because it was like his feelings were on me kind of thing. So I started feeling all the pain that he was, going through. And then Jesus said, look at how they're getting lost. And it's like they're getting lost, like out of their own will. It's their own will to get lost, even though he doesn't want them to. So as I'm watching this and I'm crying and I'm just saying, why are they still going in there? All these people kept going in the same river. And then all of a sudden, at the other side, where those people came from, still on the right side where these people were coming, but higher up, just like the river, I started seeing babies coming. When the baby starts to walk, how they waddle. Waddle.
That's so cute.
Yeah, like penguins. That's how they were walking like that, and they were wearing the same clothes that Jesus was wearing.
Oh,
The
that's so
long
cute.
white robe. It was so white and clean. Nothing was like
That's not
there. It was
normal, baby.
spotless, basically.
That's not normal, baby. That's white and clean.
Yeah, but they were dressed like that, and they were playing around each other, and they were laughing, and you could like see them like pushing each other, but like
Oh.
laughing, and they were just waddling like that, and they were so happy. And then behind them, I see adults, everybody from all kinds of countries, like from all race and women, men, everything in this other group, and they were all wearing the same robes, And I could see the men are singing, and then I could see the ladies with the tambourines, and they're dancing. So I felt so much happiness just from this group, and they're coming down, and then the baby started getting into the river, and nothing was happening to them.
This is the
This is
clean river,
the
right?
clean river
The
because it
clean
was so
river.
shallow. They started going into this river, and they were just dancing, and they were happy. It was so happy. And then I hear Jesus said again, "These are my people. This is my church." But he said it with such a proud voice, like he was so proud of these people that he was looking, and they were just happy, and they were dancing, and they were singing. Like I could hear what they were singing in the dream, but once I woke up, I couldn't remember anything,
I wonder.
So I'm like, is it the song of the redeemed? I don't know. But after, so I see all this, right? And then they're all happy and everything. And then I noticed another group started forming in the middle of the two groups. So you got,
Rivers?
yeah, in the middle of the two rivers. So in the middle of them,
Rivers.
so
So these are the two rivers, and then one of them is
one
like
of them
in
in the middle.
So not deciding which one to go through.
Yeah, so they're looking at one place and they see how everybody's like drowning. And then they're looking at this other place and then they're seeing how these people are like dancing and singing and happy. And so they kept looking like that. And then this guy said, "Oh, let's go into the narrow river." Because people are like happy. So they started running to get into that river. And as they were getting in, or as they were trying to get close to it, the dirty river, it felt kind of like it got angrier, and it kind of opened its mouth, like the earth opened, and then like pulled them all the way in. It was like when they tried to get in the clean river, there was like an invisible barrier that wouldn't let them in, and so the dirty river opened its mouth and it pulled them all the way inside the river, and you could hear their scream. It was horrible scream, like, no, like, we don't want to go here. And it was like horrible scream, and I started crying again, and I was like, why did this happen? I was asking, Jesus, like, why did this happen? They didn't want to get in there. They wanted to go into the clean river. Like, why couldn't they go in there? Why did something stop them? And then Jesus said, look at their clothes. Their clothes are dirty. You cannot come into this river with dirty clothes.
So is that like
Meaning,
they were kind of dirty, or they were dirty?
They were just dirty. They didn't have the robes. The robes were not clean. If they just had regular clothes, and their clothes were dirty. All these people that I was looking at, their clothes were like dirty. So I guess, I don't know, they were not sanctified or something. They didn't walk with Jesus, and then
it's like they're part of two worlds. It says you can't obey two masters. So maybe it was like one of they were like in their evil, but they were going to church and stuff.
Probably.
They had one foot in the church, but like one foot out.
Yeah, it's like one foot in, one foot out.
Yeah.
Probably. But they couldn't get into the clean river because they didn't clean their clothes, basically. Like, they didn't clean their life or something. And then I was crying, and then when I was crying, I kind of like was looking at the two groups, And then inside of me, I said, there's there's much more people, the ones that are getting lost than the ones that are getting saved. And then when I thought that, it seemed like Jesus was listening to my thoughts too, like he could listen to me inside of me. And he started crying, and he was like, I felt more pain after, like, I saw him cry, because he was crying so much. He was so sad. He was so sad. He kept crying, and he was like, look how they're getting lost. And then he was pointing at them, and he's like, look how many are getting lost, and where are my people? Where's my church? And that's when I woke up when he said that. So basically, church is not doing enough to get all these people saved. So he's like,
You can tell, just look at the news, or like social media, the new.
Look at the world.
Yeah, look at the world.
Yeah, so Jesus wants his church to go and preach the good news of salvation because it hurts him a lot.
Right there.
It hurts him a lot to see all these people getting lost. And it hurts him a lot because he loves you so much. Like, you don't understand how much he loves people. Like, when I saw his, like, I couldn't see his face, but I could see how much, like, love he had for people. It's like the love pours out of him. That was my dream.
Wow. So, did anything happen when you woke up or anything? Like, how was it when you woke up from your dream?
When I woke up from my dream, I was crying just like I was crying in the dream. Like it
So you
was, and I
still
still
felt the
felt pain in the chest. Like I still had the pain in the chest, and then I couldn't tell the dream to anybody until like a while because I couldn't.
Because it was just like really heartbreaking. Like your
Yeah, I couldn't.
heart hurt.
Yeah, I couldn't tell it until like really later on.
So who's the first person you told? Like, how do you come up with like something like that? That's like a big story.
I kind of like wrote it and sent it to
Oh, so
people
you
because I
wrote it?
couldn't.
You couldn't tell them.
Right.
So it's easier for you to write.
It's
the
easier for me
story.
to write stuff down because, you know, I put my thoughts better together like that.
Writing.
Yeah.
Well, that's been this video. Happy and sad, eh? Happy and sad. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed but learned something, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to share this stuff. I don't want anyone from my channel. I don't want anyone in the world to be like unsaved. I know there are a lot of people who are unsaved, and that's really sad to me. But you know, we're trying to do something here, and I hope I can get out. I hope I can reach to you and help you. Like, I hope I can show you something from these weeks. And thank you for watching. Goodbye!